Hello everyone, this is Pavitra Vinod. Welcome to CA Final ISCA 15 hours revision lectures, an initiative by CA Ravi Agarwal sir. Thank you so much sir for giving me this opportunity. This entire revision lecture is going to be based on the ICAI study material. So I request you all to have your study material in your hand. Today we'll be dealing with chapter number 2, which is Information System Concepts. Without any further delay, let us get into chapter number 2. The word information is the crux of this syllabus. We all deal with the process, how we control information, how the audit is done, what are the standards applicable, what are the laws and regulations applicable for information. What is this information? Information is process data. What is the data? Data is facts or values. This is what information is about. The next comes an important question, which is often asked in our examination. What are the attributes of this information? To remember this, we'll use a mnemonic, which is TQM CAR. Say it with me. Attributes of information. TQM CAR. TQM CAR. T for transparency. Q for quality. M for mode and format. C for completeness. A for accuracy. R for rate. And R for reliability. We look into one by one. A, availability. It should be available in the time of need. Purpose or objective. Information should have a purpose or objective at the time it is transmitted. Next one, mode and format. The mode, it could be either in the form of voice, text, or a combination of everything. And then there's a format. It could be in the form of diagrams, graphs, or curves. Next is that it should be current and updated, because an yesterday information is like an old flower or a newspaper. It is of no use. It should be current and updated for it to be relevant for the decision making. And then is the rate. Rate doesn't mean the cost of information. Here it means the rate of transmission of information and receipt of information. It should be in a sync. And then is a frequency. Frequency is how frequently the information is transmitted or affects its values. And the next one is completeness and adequacy. The information should be complete. It should be adequate so that we can form an opinion. If there's some parts which are missing, it often leads to biased decision making. And the next one is reliable. Of course, it has to be reliable so that we can make a correct decision. Next one is that it should be valid. Valid at 11 for the current time. And the next is quality. Quality here means the correctness of information. Next is transparency, so that we can make an efficient decision making and an unbiased decision making. So say it with me. Attributes of information. TQM CAR. TQM CAR. T for transparency, Q for quality, M for mode and format, C for completeness, A for accuracy, R for reliability, and R for rate. And the next one will go to system. The second part of our chapter is the wood. First we have seen with information, and next we'll be going with the word system. What is a system? A system is a group of interconnected components working towards the accomplishment of a common goal by accepting inputs and producing outputs. It's a group of interconnected components working for a common goal by accepting inputs and producing outputs. So this is a definition for a system. Then, how can we classify those systems? They will be classified on a few elements, which is first one is the element, which we can say is the abstract or physical. Then is an interaction. You can say it's open and closed. And then degree of human intervention. It is manual or automated, and on the basis of its working or output, it is deterministic or probabilistic. Let us look into each one. First one is the abstract system. Abstract system is known as a conception of model system, that is an orderly arrangement of interdependent ideas. So it is nothing but an arrangement of ideas. There's no physical form for it. And the next one is the physical system. It is a tangible element. It can be seen and touched. For example, we say our computer system is an example for abstract system on the basis of its interaction. One, we have the open system, which can interact with other systems in the environment. And then there's a closed system, which does not interact with the environment around. So an open system, it changes with the environment. So it is more relevant to the current conditions, whereas in a closed system, it's a throwaway type. It doesn't change with the environment and it fades away very easily. Then on the basis of degree of human intervention, we have the manual system and the automated system. A manual system, the work is done mostly by humans, and the automated system, the reporting is carried out by the computers, like most of the systems today. And on the basis of their working or output, we have the deterministic system and the probabilistic system. A deterministic system, we can say it operates in a predictable manner. But a probabilistic system, the output is only probable. We can say either this is going to happen or that is going to be happening. So the classification of system, we have four types. One is based on the element, interactive behavior, degree of human intervention, and working or output. Next is a very interesting concept, which is a computer-based information system. What is a computer-based information system? It is a combination of people, IT, and the business processes. So the information system comprises of people, hardware, software, data, and network. Say it with me. It comprises of people, hardware, software, data, network. CBIS comprises of hardware, software, people, data, network. Hardware, software, people, data, network. That's all about CBIS. And that is given in the chart here. Okay. What are the characteristics of such a computer-based information system? For any system, there should be a objective, and so is a computer-based information system. They have a predetermined objective, and then it has other subsystems which are both interdependent and interrelated. So it's the objective and the other systems which are interdependent and interrelated. If one subsystem is going to fail, it is going to affect the entire subsystem and the suprasystem, and they interact with each other. All the subsystems work for the central goal. These are the characteristics of a computer-based information system. Let us see it again. One is the predetermined objective, and the second is the interrelated and interdependent subsystems. If one system is going to fail, it is going to affect the entire system, and they all work for the central goal. The objective of the central system, that is a suprasystem, is much more important than the objective of the subsystems. These are the characteristics of a computer-based information system. Moving on to the next one, which is the most important part of this chapter: types of system. How do we classify the system? To see that, let us first look into the levels of management. One is the operational level, and then second is the knowledge and data workers. Then comes the middle levels, then is the senior level. So operational managers, they are at the lowest level of management. Knowledge and data workers, they come in the second tier. Middle level, they deal with the analysis statements and everything. And the topmost level, they deal with the strategic planning. So for the lowest level of managers, now we are moving into transaction processing system. What is a transaction processing system? It is for the lowest level of management, and it is for manipulation of data from business transactions like sales, purchases, other vouchers, payments, receipts, you know it all. So it's for the lowest level of management and manipulation of data from business transactions. It will organize and manipulate data and provide reports. So what are the activities? This is another important part. What are the activities of TPS? Okay, capturing data, processing the files, generating information, and processing the queries. Say it with me. TPS activities, capturing the data, processing the files, generating information, and processing queries. These are the activities involved in a transaction processing system. Next one. Now we are seeing for the activities. What are the components which are performing such activities? For that, we have a mnemonic IPSO. What is it? IPSO. So, input, processing, storage, and output. Inputs. Inputs is our source documents, like I said before. That is the customer orders, sales, invoices, purchase orders. So inputs are our source documents. They form the very starting point for anything in any system in an organization. So inputs, that is the source documents. Processing, it involves the use of journals and registers. And next is the storage. They could be either stored in a manual or a computerized system. Manual maybe in the form of outputs, printouts in the form of files, and the computerized system in the databases. Outputs. The output of the system is going to be the input of every other system. So, what are the components of TPS? IPSO, input, processing, storage, and output. Then, what are the features of TPS? What is the mnemonic that we are going to use is labs. Say it with me, labs. The mnemonic for features of TPS is labs. L for large volume of data. Yes, generally any organization which is going to in computer system, it is because they want to automate so much of the operation, which is huge. So large volume of data, and it requires greater storage capacity. Then automation of basic operations. So this is because we are the world of automation. So automation of basic operations. Benefits are easily measurable. How it is going to reduce the workload of the people so that they can focus on the important areas. So large volume of data, automation of basic operations, benefits are easily measurable. What is the next one? Source of input for other systems. As we have seen before, TPS is the first level, this is the first tier, and the output of the system is going to be the input for every other system. So it is a source for input for other systems. So what are the features of TPS? Labs. What are the features? Labs. L for large volume of data, A for automation of basic operations, B for benefits are easily measurable, and S for source of input for other systems. Moving on to the next level, which is the knowledge level system. Knowledge level system, we have office automation system. So what is an office automation system? Automation of the office operations. Okay. We have document capturing. Document capturing from every other mails or handouts. First, we are going to be storing it in the electronic form. So document capturing. Then we have to create some documents as well for communication, for mails and everything. Then we'll also be receiving and distribution of other documents. And also we can do other follow-up activities like filing, searching, retrieval, whenever there's a need to look into an information, and then calculation, that is the analytical part, and then recording utilization of the resources. So this is about the office automation system. Let us look at again. Document capture, document creation, receipts and distribution, filing, search, retrieval, follow-ups, calculation, recording utilization of resources. What are the benefits of such an office automation system? They help improve communication. Improve communication, yes, without an email, without such an YouTube classes, life during lockdown is really difficult. So it improves communication, reduces the cycle time so that the receipt and sending messages, the time gap will be reduced. So reduces cycle time and also reduces cost. So what are the benefits of office automation system? Improves communication, reduces the cycle time, reduces cost, and ensures accuracy. Ensures accuracy. I can be so sure that what I sent is what you have received. Let us look at once again benefits of office automation system. Improves communication by reducing the cycle time, reducing the cost, and ensures accuracy. Next, what is a computer-based office automation system? We have text processing system and we have electronic document management system. What is a text processing system? It is a component of office automation system, and here text processing system automate the process of development of a document. So once you want to find any document online, it takes up the information that is pre-stored in your system. So automate the process of development of document, and they permit use of standard stored information to produce generalized documents. Say for example, when you go for about ordering and your payment page appears, then your name, your mobile number, your address, everything comes pre-filled. So automate the process of development of document, permit use of standard stored information. This is about text processing system. And then about the electronic document management system. This system captures the information contained in the document, stored for future reference, and makes them available to the user. This is like the reverse of what happens. Capture the information contained in the document, that is, extract what is in the document and store for future reference and make them available to the users. So this is about electronic document management system. And now we have the electronic message communication system, which is so much common for all of us. One, we have the electronic mail. Yes, what is an electronic mail? Electronic mail, through we have features are electronic transmission. We can, yes, it is about the electronic transmission of messages and online development and editing. We go online, we type the messages, we edit the messages online, and then broadcasting and rerouting. It can also be sent to a large number of recipients and then integrated with other information system. Yes, it can be integrated anytime, anywhere access, integrated, that is integration with other information system. And then portability, yes, we can see it from anytime, anywhere, that can be accessed from anywhere, even at home or office. It can be accessed, and it's very economical as well. So what are the features of an electronic mail? Electronic transmission, online development and editing, broadcasting and rerouting, integration with other information system, portability, and economical. And the next one is fax. Fax is also an electronic, so sorry for delaying it. There's also an electronic communication of images and documents over the telephone lines. This idea is slowly fading away. We can just have a read through it and we can easily knock it down. And the next one is voicemail. Coming up next is teleconferencing and video conferencing system. Like these days during the lockdown, we are all moving on to Zoom meetings. So that is teleconferencing and video conferencing system. And next is a knowledge management system. What is a knowledge management? It is a process of capturing, developing, sharing, and effectively using the organization's knowledge. So capturing, developing, and sharing the organization's knowledge, the knowledge which is in the organization, we are going to enrich it. So it is a multidisciplined approach to achieve the organizational objective by making the best use of knowledge inside the organization. It's a process of capturing, developing, sharing, and effectively using organizational knowledge. What are the two kinds of knowledge that can be seen? One is the explicit knowledge, and the next is a tacit knowledge. What is this? It is a knowledge that can be formalized easily and it is available across the organization. That is, it can be put into the form of words or a written material. And the next one is, it is often just in one person, it cannot be seen. It's like an experience you have. It is a learning that you will learn. It cannot be shared with the others. It has to be developed by each one. Moving on to the next level of management, which is a mid-level, that is a management level system. Here we have the management information system. What is a management information system? It is an extension of transaction processing system. The output of TPS is going to be the input of MIS, and it provides wise analytical reports. It is in the form of database which is not in the TPS. Okay, here we have the notable definition for MIS. MIS is a computer-based system that provides flexible and speedy access to accurate data. MIS is a computer-based system that provides flexible and speedy access to accurate data. Next one is another important question which comes often. Characteristics of an effective MIS. What are the characteristics of an effective MIS? We'll play with some of the mnemonics here. The answer to this question is right at the question itself, which is CHMIS. What are the characteristics of an effective MIS? The answer is CHMIS. What is CH? C for common database, common data flow. H for it requires heavy planning element. M for management oriented and management director. I for interrelated or interdependent, and S for subsystem concepts. Okay, we'll see through it. Okay, C for common database, common data flow. H for heavy planning element. M for management oriented, management directed. I for it is integrated, and S for it has a subsystem concept. Why do we say that an MIS is management oriented? Because it all focuses on the needs and the overall business objectives, which is also the work of the management. So you can say it is management oriented. What does it mean when we say it is management directed? Because not it is for the it is necessary that they should actively direct the system development. So it is directed by the management, and the management should actively develop and direct the system's development. Not only at the stage of designing the system, but for its review as well. We say it is management directed because the management should actively direct the system development. Only under their direction, everything is going to happen. And not only at the development and designing phase, but even after the phase which comes at, it is review for review as well. Then it is integrated. The best approach for developing information system is the integrated approach. That is, each function is not just they're not independent, they are always interdependent is what you can say. That the functional and the operational information, they are tied together, so it is integrated. And then common data flow, it means that common input, processing, and output, it has to be one source, it has to originate at a single point. So we say this common data flow, common input, processing, output, heavy planning element. So it is said that for an MIS, it usually takes about 1 to 3 years or sometimes even longer to develop. So a heavy planning element, because else it is going to lead in waste of cost and also waste of reputation. Subsystem concept. We know that every system is going to have a subsystem, and so is the MIS system. It should be divided into meaningful subsystems. It's also said that it should be broken down into digestible subsystems. And then there's a common database. It should have, just like it has a common input and processing and output, it should also have a common database, which we say is a super file, and then it has to be computerized. Of course, that is what MIS is all about. So what are the characteristics of an effective MIS? It is already in the question. CHMIS, CHMIS, C stands for common database, common data flow. H stands for heavy planning element. M stands for management oriented, management directed. I stands for integrated, and S stands for subsystem concepts. Moving on to the next one. What are the misconceptions about MIS? The following are the major misconceptions about MIS. So, what is the wrong notion that everyone usually has about this MIS? It is said that any computer-based system is an MIS. So, okay, this is going to involve a computer. Okay, this is an MIS now. Any reporting system is an MIS. A computer-based system is an MIS. A reporting system is an MIS. Something MIS is only a management technique, or MIS is just a bunch of technologies. MIS is an implementation of the organizational system. Study of MIS is about the use of computers. And more information means more data means more information. And accuracy is of highly important. These are the misconceptions about MIS. So first is any computer-based system is MIS, any reporting system is MIS. MIS is a management technique. MIS is a bunch of technologies. MIS is an implementation of the organizational system. Study of MI is about the use of computers. More data means more information, and accuracy plays a high importance. These are the misconceptions about MIS. Okay, this is all the wrong notions about MIS, but what do we really record for an MIS? So the mnemonic for it is for a prerequisite CSTD. For the prerequisite of an effective MIS, CSTD. What is C? C is control and maintenance. What is S? It is a system and management staff. What is T? Top level management support. And what is D? Is database. So we'll see one by one. D, database. Database, we know it's a collection of files and records. What are characteristics of such databases? It should be user oriented, yes, because the users, they are the key players. And common data source, which you already seen. So database is going to be one database. It's a super file. So it should be user oriented and should have a common data source available to authorized persons only, because only then we can be sure about the accuracy and the authenticity as well. And then it is controlled by separate authority known as the DBMS, database management system. What are the characteristics of database which is going to form an effective MIS? It should be user oriented, common data source, so authorized persons only, and it should be based on DBMS, established for the purpose known as DBMS, controlled by an authority called DBMS. And then is the qualified system and management staff, because the management staff many times they're not computer literate, and the system staff, they should be also aware of the needs of the management, and also they should also be knowing about the history of the enterprise. So the system and the computer expert should have an understanding of the management concepts, so that they can understand the problems which are faced by the management. And the management experts who are not computer literate mostly, they should understand the operations of a computer. So they each other, they should understand the qualities of the other so that they can communicate and the main objective or the goal can be reached. Support of top management. Why? Because top management should be guiding the mid-level management, and if the top management's point of view is not it is not brought into the eye view of the top management, then it is likely that they get lesser priority and or it might be delayed or abandoned. So the support of the top management is essential. Next one is control and maintenance of MIS. Control is that control and audit itself is the important crux of this subject, and without the control and maintenance everything is going to be thrown away. So there should be an control and maintenance of MIS. So let us look at it again. Prerequisite of an effective MIS. So for that we have the mnemonicus. For the prerequisite, CSTD. For the prerequisite, CSTD. What is C? Control and maintenance. What is S? System and management stuff. What is T? Top level management support. And what is D? D is for database. Okay, we have all the prerequisites, we have all the components. There's no wrong misconceptions. So how do we evaluate if the management information system is up to date? So for that we have three keywords: FCA. Who are these? FCA, Future Chartered Accountants. So we'll also evaluate MIS using three keywords: FCA. What does F mean here? F means flexibility. What does A mean? The appropriate authority has taken the steps to maintain effectiveness. So appropriate authority. And then what is C? Capabilities and deficiencies has to be thrown away, or it has to be ascertained and then corrected. So for evaluating MIS, we have three keywords. What are they? FCA, flexibility, and then capabilities and deficiencies should be ascertained, and A is that the appropriate authority should guide for maintenance. So flexibility, capability, appropriate authority. These are the keywords with which we can evaluate MIS. So what are the constraints in operating such an MIS? So what happens? Where does a problem usually arise when there's an MIS which is going on very smoothly? So for that we have keywords S3E. So 3S and 1E. What are the constraints? What happens usually? What goes wrong is that the non-availability of experts. Sometimes there's always like brain, so the experts just move on from one place to another. This is usually corrected by the other systems which comes at the top, other higher levels. So let us first look what are the constraints so that we can correct it in the other system. One is the non-availability of expert. The expert goes away somewhere, and then the expert himself has a problem selecting the subsystem, because we have seen the subsystem must be clearly defined. It should be in the digestible form, which was seen before. So expert, he goes away sometimes, or he doesn't know how to select the subsystem, or he designs the objective which is in a non-standardized form, or just like we said, there's no support from the top management, the staff also doesn't cooperate. These are the constraints in operating in MAS. So shall we see that? Triple S and 1E. What is that? It is not in a standardized form. Selecting the subsystem, no cooperation from the staff doesn't cooperate, and then non-availability of experts non-availability. So not standardized, selection of subsystem, staff doesn't cooperate, expert is not available. These are the constraints in operating an MIS. Okay. What are the inherent limitations of a management information system? Why do we have to go for the other system? If the management information system is in by itself is self-sufficient, then there's no need for any other thing. What are the limitations of an MIS? The quality of the output of an MIS determined by the quality of the input of the MIS. So say garbage in, garbage out, GIGO. So if there's going to be an inherent limitation of TPS, it is also going to affect the MIS. So quality of outputs depends upon the quality of the inputs. And how much ever we have an MIS, it is not a substitute for effective management. No, Humans cannot read the computer, so it is not a substitute for an effective management. MIS, it has to be flexible because with the changing time needs of time, it has to meet the changing needs of time. If it's not going to meet the changing needs of time, then MIS is going to be obsolete. And MIS cannot provide tailor-made information. They can only provide standard ways of information. They cannot provide tailor-made information. And MIS takes into account mainly quantitative factors and they ignore the qualitative factors. So, shall we see it again? So quality of inputs depends upon the quality of outputs. It is not a substitute for an effective management. It has to meet with the changing times and it cannot provide the tailor-made information. It only takes into account the quantitative factors. And it is not useful for providing non-programmed decisions. No, it can only provide solutions for programmed decisions. So what happens if we are going to handle some new problem? No, they cannot provide information and decision making for non-programmed decisions. And effectiveness of MIS is reduced when there's a culture of hoarding information. Not every time enterprise and organization is going to be transparent, and sometimes information could be hoarded by the top managers, and because maybe due to strategic planning and they don't want to leak it out, and if there's going to be a hoarding of information, then the effectiveness of MIS is likely to be reduced. Limitations of MIS again. The quality of input is going to, the quality of input will determine on the quality of output of the previous thing. So garbage in, garbage out. MIS is not a substitute for an effective management. No. It has to adapt to the changing times of need. Many times it is not flexible. Next one is that tailor-made information is not provided by MIS. It ignores the quantity. It only deals with quantitative factors. It is not useful for providing non-programmed decisions. Effectiveness is reduced if the management is going to hoard the information. And also, there's a frequent change in top management. MIS is not likely to be useful and it is having to deal with its limitations. So because we have all these limitations of MIS, it is important that we bring another key player inside who we call as a DSS, Decision Support System. So what is a decision support system? It is again a computerized information system for helping the management make the decision. What kind of decision? And why this is so special that we have to move to it, because one of the limitation of an MIS is that it can provide only for programmed decisions and it cannot deal with non-programmed or some sudden events which is new to the organization. But the DSS can assist in solving both semi-structured and unstructured problems. So DSS can assist managers in solving semi-structured and unstructured problems. A DSS is not intended to make decisions for managers, but rather to provide managers with a set of capabilities. They assist the managers. So they not provide decision to the managers, but they provide them the capabilities. That is, they assist the managers in solving semi-structured and also unstructured problems. So what are two types of planning languages used in DSS? One is a general purpose planning language and the second is a special purpose planning language. What is a general purpose planning language? It allows a user to perform many routine tasks. So that is general routine tasks. For example, retrieving information, providing statistical analysis. All these are general or routine tasks. What is a special purpose planning language? Special purpose planning language are limited in what they do, and they usually do jobs better than the general purpose planning language. That is special purpose planning language are more limited in what they do, and they are better at doing jobs than the general purpose planning languages. Okay, so what are two types of planning languages that we have in DSS? One is the general purpose planning languages, that is they do many routine tasks. For general purpose. Special purpose, they are limited in what they do. Examples of SAS, SPSS are some of the examples of special purpose planning languages. Moving on to the characteristics of a decision support system. What are the characteristics of a decision support system? One is they support decision making. Yes, that is their prime usage. Support decision making, that is they assist managers in making decision for structured and semi-structured problems. And the next one is help group decision making, not just an independent individual working on an independent task. They support group decision making. They support decision making, and they support group making decisions. It should be flexible and adaptable. That is why we have moved from MIS to DSS. It should be flexible and adaptable, and it focuses on decision rather than data and information. Yes, in MIS focus on the analysis part, but the DSS focus on the decision part rather than data and information. And then it should be easy to use because many times the managers are not computer literate. DSS can be used for structured problems as well as semi-structured problems, and it should be user-friendly, easy to use. It's the same points, and then it should be extensible and evolve over time. These are the major constraints in MIS. So they were not flexible and also changing over time, but our DSS should be extensible and evolve over time. It should mainly be for decision making. Impact of DSS should be on decision. Rather, management judgment is essential. It should be mainly on the decision. Okay, now let us again look into the characteristics of DSS. It supports decision making. It supports group making decision. It is flexible and adaptable. Decision making, group making decision, flexible, adaptable. It focuses on decision only. And then it is easy to use and user friendly for structured problems and also for unstructured problems. It should be extensible and evolve over time. It's mainly used for decision making. It's the same point, and rather than data and information. These are the characteristics of DSS. What are the characteristics of MIS? CHMIS. Characteristics of MIS, CHMIS. Now we have the characteristic of DSS over. Next, what are the components of DSS? The components of DSS are the user. The next is the database. User, database, model base, user, database, model base, user, database, model base. Yes. The components of DSS are the user. Who is the user here? The user here is mainly the manager because it is for the middle level, which is the management level. With an unstructured or semi-structured problem, it could be either they're having an unstructured or a semi-structured problem. The first component is a user because he's the first one who's coming. He only wants it. The user is a manager with an unstructured or a semi-structured problem. And next, who could be the user? The manager or the staff specialist. So someone who doesn't know about computers and someone who knows about the computers, and someone who has the semi-structured and unstructured problem, and someone who's going to help him deal with such problems. So who are the users? The managers. The manager or the user who have a very basic computer knowledge and they have the unstructured or semi-structured problems. And then as a staff specialist who are more detail oriented and willing to use a complex system for the day-to-day work. The first component of a DSS is the user. The second one is the database. Database is going to be a component of everything here. So next is the database. DSS includes, and here when we say database, we have multiple database with one common input only. You can have multiple databases, but it should all be originating from a single input, that is a super file. So how do we implement such databases? At the physical level, we have the hard disk. It could be stored in the hard disk. At the logical level, that is in the form of nature and schema. We have all seen it in the IPCC level, so not going much into it. And then the external level. So what is the second component? It is a database. And how do we implement implementation of the database is done at a physical level, logical level, and the external level. Okay, now we have the user, now we have the database. What comes in? We have databases. So what is next? Next is a model based. Model base is a brain of DSS because it performs data manipulations and computations with the data provided. So model base is like the mediator who tries to solve every problem. So model base is a brain of DSS, and they provide and they do data manipulations and computations with the data. So these are the components of DSS. What are they? The user, the database, and the model base. The user is a manager or a staff specialist, and the database we already said it. And the model base is like the mediator, and this is the brain of DSS. It performs data manipulations and computations of the data provided, and also gives us a solutions. And next we have the examples of DSS system. One read is enough to cover this part, so I'm sure you can do it in a very well manner. And then we are going to the top level, which is a strategic level system. This is the important part. Execute the information system. The strategic level is nothing but the top level, and they deal with the long-term planning or the long-range planning. They are the top managers. So to help them assist, we have the executive information system, also known as the executive support system. These serve the strategic level. We call them the strategic level or the top level. Okay, then what are the characteristics of an executive information system? Yes, executives. It is for the executives. EIS, the computer-based system that serves the information need of top executives. EIS characteristic, it serves for the top executives. Next one is, it enables user to extract summary data and model complex problems. Summary data, users to extract summary data and model complex problems without the need to learn query languages, statistical formulas, or high computing skills. Yes, just like the managers at the mid level, the executives at the top level, they are also not very computer literate. Many times they're not very computer literate, so they can extract the summary data and they can model complex problems without having the need to learn query languages or statistical formula. So extract summary data. It is the first characteristic is that it is for the top executives. Then is that they can extract summary data without having to learn complex query languages. And then timely information will be provided. And the next is that it is capable of for both accessing internal and external data. Why is that? Only the top level needs internal and external data, because only then they can plan for the long range, keeping in mind the market conditions and everything. So it is capable of accessing both internal and external data, and it also provides online analysis like trend analysis, market conditions, because maybe they're going to an M&A or something like that, and or expand their market. So it provides an extensive online analysis for trend and market conditions. EIS can easily be given as a DSS, support for decision making. So for the top level, this is a DSS. Okay, so what are the characteristics again? What are the characteristics of an EIS? It is for the top executives. And the next is, it enables the top executives to extract summary data without having need to learn complex need to learn query languages, statistical formulas, or high computing skills. And next one is a timely information, and then internal and external data, online analysis like trend and market conditions, and this is a DSS for the top management. Okay, that's that. Next is the characteristics of type of information used in executive decision making. So the information that is used in the executive decision making is also from MIS, DSS, okay. But what other information they can be getting? How do they get? They lack. So for this we have the mnemonic here, which is a low level and lack FDI. It is low level and lack FDI. So it is low level. What is low level? Low level of DI. Most of the decision that the executives at the top management they have, it doesn't have much details. okay, or made by observing only the trends that they cannot be predictable. Everything is just so volatile. The details and the market conditions that they get is so volatile. So they can be said that information that they get is for like a low level of detail. And even only through that detail, they'll have to get through they'll have to plan and for the long range, and then there's that they lack structure, and they are mainly unstructured. What data are required or how to weigh the available data. So we don't know which data is required and how do we make the available data used for decision making. So no, they lack structure. One is a low level of detail. It is mainly based on trends and there's no detailing in that. And they'll have to muck through the details that's given in there. So that's low level of detail and they lack structure. So what data is required and how are we going to weigh the data to reach the decision making, that is not known. So they lack structure. And then coming back to the mnemonic, future oriented. That is the main part of the strategic planning by the top management. It's a future oriented. Everything is future oriented, long range. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, are we expanding? No. That it is all future oriented. Strategic planning decisions are made in order to shape the future events. So it is said that the information that they need is always future oriented, and degree of uncertainty, high degree of uncertainty. It's just like low level of detail. Work in a decision space that is often characterized by lack of precedent, and so there's high degree of uncertainty because of market. Again, the market is always volatile and nothing is certain in the future. And also informal sources. Executives are like more like other managers. Some information maybe this company could be going to a particular M&A or a demerger. They could get all such information through their colleagues and other friends. So it is said that the information is also informal sources. Okay, informal sources such as television or other newses or some scheduled computer reports. So these are the characteristics of an executive information system that they lack. They have low level of detail, lack structure, and future oriented degree of uncertainty and informal sources. So again, for the mnemonic, low level, lack FDI, low level and lack FDI. So next, what are the contents of an EIS? What are the contents of an EIS? What data is appropriate for the inclusion of an executive information system is whatever is interesting to the executive. So what the executives think is what is going to be appropriate for them. What is interesting for the executives, what is going to be appropriate for them. So in this instance, we can know that it is very uncertain to know to see what we need. Okay, so what is interesting becomes what is appropriate for them. And the next one is, what are the measures and indicators to be included in an EIS? So what are the practical set of principles that guide? So the principles that guide the design and measure the indicators to be included in an EIS. So characteristics for the EIS is what they're going to look into next. EIS measures should be easy to understand and collect. The measures should be easy to understand and collect. Measure should be based on balanced view of the organization's objective. Is that it should be easy to understand and collect. There should be a balanced view. And performance indicators in an EIS should reflect everyone's contribution in a fair and consistent manner. So easy to understand, balanced view of the organization, and performance indicators must reflect everyone's contribution. EIS measures must encourage management and staff to share ownership. Everyone should feel belong to the organization. So it's all about comes to the same point, balancing. And EIS must be available to everyone. One is that it should be easy to understand and collect. It should have a balanced view of organization, and the performance indicators must reflect everyone's contribution. It must encourage the management and staff to share the ownership and should be available to everyone. These are the measures and performance indicators. So we look at it again. Easy to understand and connect. Balanced view. Performance indicator sharing everyone's contribution. And management and staff must feel belonging to the organization, and it should be available to everyone. Next part is, and these are the places where you can give one thorough read, and I'm sure you can very well tackle it. Okay. We have the EIS. We have its own limitations. So we are moving on to the another system, which is the expert system. What is an expert system? An expert system is a highly developed decision support system that utilizes the knowledge generally possessed by an expert. So expert system is nothing but a DSS which has a knowledge of an expert. Expert system or software system that imitate the reasoning process of a human expert. He is nothing but a human in the form of a computer. So expert system is nothing but a DSS which utilizes the knowledge of an expert. So it has the same reasoning process as of a human expert. Okay. It is used in the areas of accounting, finance, marketing, manufacturing, personnel, general business. All these things can give just one thorough read. We have every other system, then why are we going to the expert system? We have DSS, we have MIS, we have EAS, and why do we need another one, which is the expert system? Because expert labor is many a times expensive and they are available only in limited. So expert labor are many a time expensive. So we moving on to the system, and also many times there's a shortage of them, and human brain is limited and they can only process one thing at a time. They can deal with only few factors at a time, but a computer can multitask. It can open so many windows, do this here, do that there. They can solve multiple queries at a time. So for all these factors, we are moving on to an expert system and replacing the expert labor, because expert labor are expensive, they are limited or scarce, and then what the time constraint is that they can deal only with a limited factors at a time. We have moved on to the expert system now. So how are we benefited? What are the benefits? Real life expert, thinking, not emotional, knowledge, strategic to these are the mnemonic. So what are the benefits? Real life expert, thinking, not emotional, knowledge, strategic too. First one is they act like a real life expert. Expert system put the information into active form so that it can be someone almost as a real life expert. They act like a real life expert. Thinking, expert system as is novices in thinking, the way express profession do. Okay, so we have like my teacher, he teaches me well. Can a computer teach me in the layman language? Yes. Expert system as novices in thinking, the way professional experts do. And they're not emotional. Yeah, they're not emotional as the sense they're not subject to tired of it. A computer can work non-stop. And knowledge, they can preserve the knowledge even if the expert is going to leave the organization. His knowledge is going to be preserved for n number of years to come, and then it can be effectively used as a strategic tool. These are the benefits of an expert system. Let's go through it once again. Benefits of an expert system: real life expert, thinking, not emotional, strategic tool. Real life expert, thinking, not emotional, strategic tool. So they act like a real life expert, and then they're thinking. They also act as the novices in their thinking, and they're not emotional and they don't have fatigue or anything. The knowledge can be preserved and it can be used as a strategic tool for marketing and everything else. The next concept is, what are the properties of an expert system? What are the properties of an expert system? For this, we are going to use a mnemonic. The properties of an expert system are structure A, B, C, D, E. The properties of an expert system are structure A, B, C, D, E. What is structure? We don't have B here, this is structure. The solution process must be able to cope up with ill-structured, uncertain, missing, conflicting data. It is all about the data characteristics based for the strategic management in by itself, because the strategic management, their information is ill-structured, uncertain, missing, conflicting data. So they should be structured so that they can assist the strategic management, and then it should be available. One of our experts are capable of communicating how they are going to solve the problem. So the expert system must be available. And then complexity. Solution of the problem will be used in complex tasks. So it is going to deal with the complex problems. And domain. Domain means a particular locality or the area. The domain of the subject area is relatively small and limited to relatively well-defined problem area. It is going to be for a particular domain only. Expertise. Solution to the problem requires the efforts of expert. So solution to the problem requires the efforts of the expert. So what are the properties of an expert system? Structure A, B, C, D, E. Structure. That is, it is going to provide structured solution for ill structure, uncertain, missing, conflicting data. And then availability. It is going to be available then. And then complexity. It is going to be used for the complex problems. Domain is going to be limited to the particular subject area. Expertise, solution to the problems are going to be in the so the outcome is going to be just like an expert tool. Okay, and next is a cross-functional information system. Okay, we have the TPS, we have the MIS, we have the DSS, we have the EP. Do we need everything? Like, should everything be that information system? Can I not combine all in one? Yes, you can. For that, we have the cross-functional information system. It is also known as an integrated information system that combines most of the information system and designed to produce information and support decision making for different levels of management. Rather than having, okay, you have TPS, you have MIS, you have DS, it's going to cost a lot. And also the management, the follow-up, the control, everything is going to be so making it difficult. So to it, cross-functional information system, they integrate the information system and combine the information system. Example is a ERP. ERP. ERP is a process management software that allows information to use a system of integrated applications. And for all facets like operations, we can also use management, also they can use strategic, they can also use. Having said this, what are the components of an ERP? What are the components of an ERP? First one is a software component. It is going to be computerized, so automatically it's going to have a software component. The software component is a component that is not visible and consists of several modules. Yes, because it's going to deal with many aspects in an enterprise. That's finance, human resource, supply chain management, supplier relationship, and everything. So software component, it is not visible. That is a more software component is a component that is most visible. Okay, that is most visible part. Okay, software is the most visible part, and it deals with several modules such as finance, human resource, supply chain management. And next is a process flow. It is a model that illustrates the system, the way how information flows among different modules. Okay, we have so many modules because that is what an ERP is about. It's going to deal with so modules, different modules. You have the software, and then it is going to deal with different modules. The process flow determines how the information is going to flow among different modules. That is for the second one. And next is a customer mindset. So by implementing ERP, the old ways of working is gone, and then sometimes there might be resistance to change. They might be they're like old is gold, old ways are gone. No, the customer mindset, they'll have to take into account the mindset of the customers to bring about a new ERP. And then change management. So ERP implementation, for that change needs to be managed at several levels. There's a user attitude, resistance to change, and business process changes. So whenever there's going to be something new, the users are going to be like, oh no, this is new, this is different, old is better, and then resistance to change. So they may be like feeling like, okay, I want to go back to the old one again. And the business process, above all, the business process in by itself is going to be changing. So it should be managed by ERP. What are the components of ERP? Software component, that is the most visible part. And it has to deal with so many other modules and how the information is going to flow among the modules. And then we have the customer, they have a fixed mindset, it had to deal with the fixed mindset of the customers and change management. Okay, so we have this ERP. What are benefits of such an ERP? First is a streamlining process, bringing all under one roof. So it is all streamlined in a workflows in a single integrated system. No DPS, okay, DPS, MIS, DSS, no, I can't focus on everything. I have a single integrated system. And then reduce redundant data entry. Okay, the lower level enters some data, the middle level enters some data, he changes that. No, reduce redundant data entry. And uniform process, streamlined process, uniform process. And then because of this, we can improve the workflow and efficiency, improve customer satisfaction, reduced inventory costs because you don't have to focus on so many other systems, decrease in vendor pricing, just go to one vendor who sells a ERP and not to so many persons. And then track actual cost of activities and the consolidated picture. One thing is going to provide a consolidated picture of everything. Okay, what are the benefits of ERP? Streamlining the process in a single integrated system. So there's no redundant data entry. There's a uniform process, improved workflow and efficiency, improved customer satisfaction, reduced inventory cost, decrease in vendor pricing, and then one consolidated picture. These are the benefits of an ERP. And the next concept is core banking system. What's a core banking system? Core banking system is a banking services provided by a group of network bank branches. That's a group. So many branches are going to combine themselves together and provide you that particular service, that is core banking system. This you can give a read, and I'm sure you can deal with the concept very well. Okay, next, what is the application of information system in enterprise process? Application of information system in enterprise process. So how are they being useful for the enterprise? First one is support and organization business process and operations. So that's for the lower level, just rising again. Lower level business process and operations, and the mid level for the decision making, and for the top level for strategic competitive advantages. Yes. And next is to operate the information system effectively and efficiently. A business manager should have knowledge of the following. What are they? So to operate an information system, I should have a knowledge of a few things. What are they? The mnemonic is DMIFP. DMIFP. D for development process. How do I develop it? And then M for management challenges. I develop. How am I going to manage it? What are the challenges that I'm going to face? And then I is the information technology. I should know about the computers. F is the foundation concepts, the basic. B is the business application. So let's look into it one by one. Foundation concepts. It includes a fundamental business and managerial concepts. Okay. And next, the information technology. We know it's about the operation, development, management of hardware, software, data, and then the business applications. Major use of IT in business steps. So how are we going to use IT in the business process, that is business applications, and then development process, how end users and information system specialists are going to develop the process. And then the management challenges, how to function and how the IT resources are going to be maintained. So to operate an information system, the business manager should possess the following. What are they? DMIFB. D is development process, M is management challenges, I is information technology, F is foundation concepts, B is business applications. Next one is, these are some of the areas where one thorough read can be given. And here we have yet another important point to be noted, a business module. What is a business module? A business model can be defined as an outline of how the business is to be done by a company. A business module is an outline of how we are going to do a business is what a business model all says about. A business strategy is defined as a long-term planning for success. Okay, strategy means it's a long-term planning for success. A business module is how we are going to do our business. A picture of how we are going to do the business is what business model is. Might be asked for an MCQ, so we'll just give a read. And it's important that we go through the institute syllabus because it's the mother source of everything. All originates from here. Your answers are all hidden here. Your MCQs are all hidden here. So do not and never ever ignore the institute study material. And these are some of the areas which are slightly repeated. And okay, various types of business applications. You can give a thorough read. Okay, overview of underlying IT technologies. Okay, so if I'm going to start a business now, what will I do apart from investing in other the IT side? So first I'll be thinking like maybe I started a small scale business. I start have a website or at least have a Facebook page for it or an Instagram page for it. That's what I'll be doing mostly. So have a business website. Why? To popularize yourself and to make it reachable for large amount of customers. So first is to have a website so you advertise the whole world. And then next is you have an office. What's an office within the internet or intranet? Next one, you have the internet and the intranet for the best source of communication. Time and space is no more obstacle for conducting meeting. Yes, time and space is no one obstacle for conducting meetings these days. And then the software packages. Of course, we need software packages. We could be needing the Tally or what else and what not, DBMS and everything else. So these are the underlying IT technologies which will be needed for the business use. So all the areas, it's all done. And then here, what's a business intelligence? Business intelligence refers to application. Okay, what is a business intelligence? Business intelligence refers to applications and technologies that are used to collect and provide access and analyze data and information. Business intelligence collects and provide access and analyze data and information about computer operations. Kindly bring your attention to here because this also is another important part. Business intelligence collect and provide access and analyze data. And then we have the computer system, scanners, laptop. So these are the underlying IT technologies. So first is a business website, next the internet, intranet, and next the software and packages, and next the business intelligence, and next the computer system, scanners, laptop, printers, webcam, smartphone, etc. This brings us to the end of this chapter, and thank you all. Please do leave your comments and help me improve the lecture. We'll see with chapter number 4 soon. Thank you.